Welcome back, everyone. European squad H2K and the Bangkok Titans are setting up on stage for our second match of the day. Now, in yesterday's game versus SK Telecom, G4 blind picked Aurelia mid into Faker. At the very least, that takes some guts.
Bold.
Good sense of humor, too. I think that was actually quite funny that he did that, just to be like, show me what you got, Faker. I'm going to play your champion. I think he knows those matchups.
Very much so.
But he is he is an Aurelia mid player, so that is something you will say. And their top laner, Warlock, has also been performing quite well. You know, this was a weak link in their team, especially through the IWCQ tournaments, and he's come in and been able to keep up in CS. He's their captain, he's their shot caller, and he's performed admirably.
Yeah, I have to agree, except for that one kind of failed Maokai W. But other than that, he's been the only guy on his team that's really been holding up at this tournament.
But did the creep die, Monty? That's all I want to know.
It took a lot longer than you
Eventually it died, yes.
No, I don't know how many people actually use target champion only button.
All right, moving over to H2K, though. Taking a look at their top laner, Odoamne, played Fiora yesterday.
Yeah, he played Fiora in a rather good matchup for him against Amazing J's Darius, but he performed very well. He was taking a lot of pressure. 3 people would come up to him, and he would just put them on a merry chase and buy a lot of time. So Odoamne, as the shot caller for H2K, has been doing a lot of good things for this team. See if he can just up that and get his team on the same page for this match.
Yeah, and one thing I want to shout out to H2K about is that their early game for a team that hasn't got a fantastic jungler is actually looking very, very solid. So across the board, their first 10 minutes of the game actually looks like they're on the same page and very together.
Well, and speaking of junglers, they're not going to be up against much of a challenge here because 007X for the Bangkok Titans, he's not much of a secret agent. He constantly face checks things alone and dies. So I'm putting this guy on burn notice right now. He's got to improve if they even want to have a chance against H2K. But at least for Lulex, it's not that challenging of a matchup.
All right, well, both of these teams are still looking for their first win today, so we'll see if they can get it. Now, as we send it over to our casters, Kasing explains H2K aren't going to get caught overlooking the Bangkok Titans.
Well, to be honest, I'm not expecting Bangkok Titans to be like SKT or EDG level, like we've seen how they play already. And I don't think they're like super bad because they got to Worlds for a reason. But I just don't think they're going to be that strong, like compared to the likes of the other teams in the current, like our group as well, especially. So I feel like they're not going to be as hard as we would think they would be. But of course, we're not going to just like laze around and not do anything. We're still going to play to our best.
Well, we'll see how much that holds true.
BKT not confirmed SKT or EDG?
I mean, the letter is really close. You just change B to S, and you're the exact same team. So,
yeah.
You know, if we get a typo in there, suddenly game's on. Either way, guys, let's get ourselves right into the starting lineups here. On the blue side for this match is going to be H2K with Odoamne up in the top lane. Big player there. Lulex in the jungle. Monty said he'd be having a better time this one. Ryu up in the mid lane. Hjarnan on AD carry, one of the strongest parts of this squad, and Kasing on support. You just heard from him saying they will try to play their best to make sure they win this one.
Yeah, on the red side, a team looking to upset H2K, pick up a win for themselves, the Bangkok Titans. We have, of course, Warlock in the top lane with his Maokai, 007X in the jungle. We have G4 in the mid lane, still the star player on the team. Lloyd is the AD carry, and of course his support is Moss down in the bottom lane. A team, though, it's been very difficult for them to do anything, but same for H2K in this group against SKT, against EDG. We were not expecting a whole lot, and now really this is the test, I guess, for H2K, for both teams. Like, this is your chance to pick up a win.
Yeah, and the thing is, I do think these teams were tested before, and Bangkok Titans clearly looked outmatched when they faced against 2 of the tournament favorites over against Edward Gaming and SK Telecom T1. H2K had shown glimmers of hope more in their SKT game than their EDG one. They had pulled a gold lead back, they had lane swapped better, and then one bad fight really showed that H2K were able to crumble. So, okay, this time, try to drop the mistakes after, try to close out right.
Yeah, I think that obviously Bangkok Titans are the underdogs in this matchup, but when I've been looking for their games, I've been looking for these oddball picks that they have, not only in the mid lane with the Aurelia, which he traditionally used as a counter pick rather than first picking it, but also in the jungle and the top lane. They've used a lot of champions that people, when the meta has settled, have not valued as highly. Things like Sejuani, even after she has been long gone from all of the regions.
In the top lane as well, one of the only guys playing it.
Mundo even in the international wildcard, so.
Well, it's like they have a style they stick to, right? Like, 007X is going to be on a tank. He's going to be as beefy as possible, and the exact same thing here for Warlock. And they're built around this. Even Moss is actually 2 Braum games here himself, so that they have like a very specific team comp style, an assassin mid laner, a carry, a damage-focused ADC more than utility, and 3 tanks in front of it. And over and over, that's how they play these games.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the Southeast Asia analysts, and they said, yeah, G4 can play other styles. They just haven't had success with those, right? He can play the Lulus and the Orianas, and you did see at the International Wildcard when they tried to play Poke. Maybe the rest of the team can't quite play around it as well.
No, but he's the main carry. So do not put him on like a Lulu or anything, like, because he's the guy you trust to do well. The problem for him again is mid lane is super stacked at this World Championship here. Ryu in this group, obviously we would call the weaker of the mid laners outside of G4, and yet he's a fantastic strong player. So there is no easy matchup for G4, or no easy game where Bangkok Titans can say, let's just try and camp that mid lane. It should work for us. It's too predictable for these teams here who has multiple play styles, who have all the up-to-date picks as well, and that's why it becomes so difficult. And we often see these early games where it's all or nothing. Like level 1, we saw G4 try and trade with Faker on an Olaf and just go all in, basically.
Just a really bad fight.
Very bad decision, but it's the mentality, it's the style they have. They're basically just saying, if we do not get rolling in the first 5-6 minutes with some early kills, we can't really outplay the team macro-wise.
And that's kind of true. I mean, this is what happens when you come in from one of the weaker regions, honestly. There's not a lot of competition for BKT to be up against.
But a fairly new region in some ways.
Yeah,
they were
some of the
half,
servers
right?
are very new. Well, yeah, I mean, like a lot of it's almost like the LCK is now, right? Like a lot of their top players left, and now the LCK is the other good Korean players. All the Taiwanese teams left and joined the LMS, and now obviously it means that suddenly these guys are on the top echelon, but it still means that their good practice partners are now all gone because the LMS teams are all playing LMS teams because the competition's better, and
it takes time to rebuild.
Growth, taking time to rebuild is pretty hard. I mean, growth is going to be hard, and honestly, you can see just by contrasting the games, like these guys are dominant in their region, and yet how far away they are from the likes of SKT.
Well, that's also a very high one you're comparing them to.
Well, but I mean that's what I'm talking about, right? It's just there's such a disparity here.
Right. Yeah. I definitely can see what you mean with it. I mean, GPL is just so tricky for them, with now kind of rebuilding your own region in some way, even though you've been there for such a long time. Obviously, we go years back with GPL. They did still manage to win the wildcard tournament, which was a big win for them. After a fairly shaky start to the tournament, they came back in the final and looked very, very good. And that's why they're here. That's why, again, they deserve to be here at Worlds as one of these wildcard teams.
Yeah, remember they overtook Dark Passage, who was favored to beat them, and also the OPL Chiefs. So they were able to overcome some odds just to make it here.
And, persevering in a bracket format's good, but here, unfortunately, they've only got 6 games to play for the Bangkok Titans. They've lost the first 2. H2K is the first one that I think they can have a realistic chance of success. Still an uphill battle, but honestly, like this World Championship has been the World Championship of upsets. How bad Cloud9 looked.
Hey,
last
for the year was pretty good for upsets in the group stages as well.
That's
but
true.
You're definitely right.
No, you're right. You're right. Actually, we've had one wild card team win per year for the last 2 years running. Maybe this is one of them for this one. Maybe it's paying over in Group A.
Hey, it is the team you have to beat, right? In this group, it is a H2K you have to take down. Still, H2K as a team, when we have watched them now in these 2 games against SKT and EDG, they obviously knew coming into this tournament how hard it would be to win. But we have still seen a team. Spawn just said on the analyst desk, in the early game, they've been looking good. The lane's always been on point. They make some good moves strategically, something we know they can do well back in Europe as well. But then when it comes to matching, I feel often individually, like with your decision-making, they overextend, they go a little bit greedy, they waste the flash where they're already going down, and like all these small mistakes just kind of pile up, and you get punished by the world-class teams when you make those mistakes.
That's the interesting I don't mean to cut you off, but that's the interesting thing about mistakes here is mistakes only feel like mistakes when they get punished, right? When the GPL is a weaker region and the junglers aren't as good and the mid laners aren't as good, you can go for fights that work because you're just better than your opponent. When you go for a level 1 all-in against Faker, big surprise, you get punished when it's the wrong fight to go for. And unless you're kind of actually shown when these decisions are wrong, you very clearly will have some very bad decisions for yourself. So real quick, though, we are waiting for BKT to get into the game. We're working out some technical issues with that on the stage. So for now, we're going to check in with the analyst desk for a bit more in this game.
Thank you, Freak. Yeah, a couple networking issues on stage, so as they get that figured out, we'll have an opportunity to talk a little bit more about the game. First up, Zyrene. We have hammered the point a little bit. Lulex in the jungle, underperforming as of yet in the tournament. What are you looking for in this game for him to improve on?
So in both games that H2K have played so far, they actually had rather good early games, like Spawn was saying. But I feel like perpetuating that and continuing to do that is fine. But what you need to do is use that even further. You need to have Lulex, which I think is the big catalyst here, continue to push that. There are windows of opportunity, and he is not using them. He is not pushing what advantages he has and what opportunities he sees on the map. Identifying those and using it is what he has to do to level up at Worlds right now.
And when we came into this tournament, we talked about the stat with H2K. If they were down by 1,000 gold at 20 minutes, they only won 1 out of 9 games. So you'd think that getting their early game rolling would be a massive boon for this team. And even when they've had opportunities to do that, they haven't been able to actually convert on those plans. And I don't know what the problem is. It seems like you can't just lump all this on Lulex, right? Because in that particular situation, it is his teammates' job to tell him what the cooldowns of those summoners are, when there are opportunities to create openings for him and get him there. To me, it just looks like they're not on the same page. Kasing is there ganking the mid lane. Lulex is nowhere to be found. These guys need to just talk to each other in the early game and be able to plan on the fly better.
Yeah, that's the thing. Identifying the opportunities. They are not identifying them, and they're not jumping on them. So it's either one or the other.
All right, well, with that, the technical issues seem to be resolved, so we're going to toss it back over to the guys for the call.
Thank you very much, Dash. Great analyzing in the day so far. We're ready now to get ourselves into our second of 6 matches of the afternoon here. I've been saying night most of the time. That's incorrect. We're afternoon here in France, about 3 p.m. Champ Select about to begin. H2K looking for their first win of the World Championship here up against Bangkok Titans in the same shoes here. And right away, lessons learned, Rek'Sai banned away.
And this could be the first game where we get a lot of these top-tier picks open, maybe even a Mordekaiser, because a lot of teams have some very specific target bans versus H2K. Lee Sin against Lulex and Thresh against Kasing is normally always banned away, and that would potentially leave some of them open.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Lee Sin with the 5 extra AD added back to Warrior. I thought we were going to see more Warrior enchantments upgraded here, but even in the previous game, Jarvan and Rek'Sai, 2 champions who could have both opt for the Cinderhulk.
So let late game scaling for yourself when it's so much about these team fights. For the teams, anyhow, so far, no big surprise in the bans, except for maybe the Yasuo coming in.
Yeah, respect for G4.
Yep, that's the second ban this championship against him specifically here. Gangplank out the table as well, no surprise. It's actually following pretty much the exact trend that SKT had for their bans. They're the ones banning all the 100%.
So I want to see if H2K is going to first pick a Thresh for Kasing if it's left open. They've done it before multiple times, even though there were other very strong picks in the meta open that other teams would value higher. They trust so much in Kasing being that big playmaker, and the Lantern is so key for this team because when they do invade, because there are often some miscommunication or some problems, that Lantern is kind of like get out of jail card you have, and it saves them so often.
I definitely agree. It's huge for him. He's a great playmaker with it. I would also like to see H2K try and save Odoamne's pick for a while, just because he's been so good with the Fiora matchup when he gets to choose the matchup here with the counter pick. That being said, though, Warlock almost exclusively playing tanks.
Mordekaiser's open. Mordekaiser's up.
Mordekaiser's up.
We got one! Yeah. Lock it in. You have to. We don't care about Kasing's champion pool. You gotta get that.
Look at that smirk. Look at that smirk.
Well, what's funny is
I want the crowd going.
H2K is one of the 3 teams in the World Championship to ban Mordekaiser on the blue side, but it still means we're able to play it. Our first Mordekaiser of Worlds. And now we get to see exactly how Hjarnar wants to play it.
Let's just see the first 20 minutes here for H2K, how well they can use that Mordekaiser to take the dragon and get completely out of control.
Yeah, let's talk about how you build your team around Mordekaiser. He brings so much pressure to the bottom lane, constantly shoving, and the extra experience he gets guarantees you're gonna out-level your opponent, so you get to the level 6 quicker, and then you immediately take dragon. You can just chain objectives right after taking the dragon, use that ghost, run straight mid, open up the entire jungle. It's all about that early snowball.
BKT didn't need to take Elise because Mordekaiser is so good at pushing his lane, so if you give the other team a setup that's really good at diving towers, it becomes so easy to camp that bot, and H2K is not even going to think about this one. Massive mistake. Bangkok Titans is trying to take away picks, it has to be Elise here. I know it's your comfort pick, Lulex, but Elise with Mordekaiser, it's just so easy dives, and then you take Dragon, and then the first 15 minutes is just set up for you to snowball.
Yeah, people talk about, oh, Mordekaiser, all you have to do is gank him early, but both teams know that. This is competitive League of Legends, but the Mordekaiser team are also going to send their jungler down bottom, and if they counter gank you down there, then it just gets very painful very quickly.
Yeah, so again, we see takeaway picks from Bangkok Titans. They're like, okay, we keep Mordekaiser open, and we take the Thresh away from Kasing, we take away the Gragas from Lulex, but Lulex would rather play Elise or Lee Sin over the Gragas. It's because they've been banned away. He's been like, oh, well, I have to go with my third option, I guess, then, and then he went for it. So they're not really taking away anything. Obviously, 007 have played quite a lot of the tanks, so maybe it's also just for him a stronger pick, but I mean, this is such a problem. Look at this here, Alistar Elise. We just talked about how getting tower divers with a Mordekaiser, we're gonna have a party in the bottom lane.
It's going to be fun, but I mean, that's what I said in the pregame, though. BKT plays BKT style. They play their set of champions. They're much less about really stealing picks away. Some situations like the Thresh take right here being part of that, where they can, but really they're always going to play the same kind of style. G4 now, if he's going to play an assassin versus the team fighter, and I think he should play like an Azir or a Victor, something long range, something very control magey, so that...
And wave clear.
Yeah, so that Mordekaiser and Alistar and the pet dragon can't knock these turrets down.
The thing is, you can't clear a dragon. I don't care how much wave clear you have. Throw all
Spike top, bring it back.
Whatever champion you are, even throw your ultimate at that dragon at level 6. You're not going to be able to take down. It's going to power. That is, when I saw the design originally, I was like, oh, it's going to be a cute little baby dragon. No, that's a full-grown actual dragon that he gets. As soon as he hits level 6, then they take the objective, if they take the objective.
Yeah, you need just something that can maybe slow down H2K in that early game. You know there's going to be so much action in the bottom lane, so lane swapping potentially for Bangkok Titans would be like, okay, maybe we can try and slow down the early game a little bit, like a freeze up for AD carry, make him a bit stronger so this Mordekaiser won't go that crazy, but he doesn't really care because then he's on the bottom side with Dragon Control already, just from that happening. So it's so difficult now for them with how they want to play it out. I think Mordekaiser is fantastic when it comes to getting the outer turrets down, like the tier 1 turrets. He does struggle a little bit more when it comes to the next one. It becomes a little bit easier to play against him, but
that counter. See, saving the last pick there for Odoamne. What we are looking for, uses it on the Riven. Now, Riven can choose the engage on the Mininar form. It is difficult for her to catch, though. If you're actually very quick and if you do have the confidence that you've got jungle protection.
I mean, at least top has a reasonably long cooldown, so there's the chance that you can catch him between those.
This is actually just a confidence pick here from Odoamne and the rest of H2K. If you bring Elise early, then Riven can snowball, but normally...
I mean, you want to go with Mordekaiser.
Yeah, normally, I don't think that we would see them opt into this matchup.
So, Riven is a champion that Odoamne coming into the EU LCS playoffs. He spammed it. He practiced so much. He never got to show it. I think this is him again, just testing it on stage again against a weaker team on paper, being like, you know what, I'm going to try and take this matchup. I'm going to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of top laners that actually pick Gnar into Riven.
Oh, wow, interesting. So we'll see how and who gets the better of this matchup here. And this one, there's also, I guess, a chance that Echo can play top lane, Riven can play mid, though I don't think that's going to be the likely one here. Bangkok Titans twisted fate for the mid lane in the last one here, so they've got a lot of pressure on these side lanes.
So I like that pick. Again, wave clear might not save you from the big bad dragon, but at least it can help you a little bit. But then you have something now that can respond to the aggressive dives on the bottom side of the map. You have something that can gank a Mordekaiser and try and maybe keep him down in the early game. But this is also the second game now we see Echo being picked as the blind pick mid laner. Because again, he's supposed to be that safe option coming in. We saw it from EDG, we've now seen it from H2K.
Yeah, this composition from H2K says they are not planning to get behind, ever. This is...
Yeah.
Do you ever plan to get behind?
It's also 5 melee,
if you take a scaling comp, then you bring wave clear and you are planning on having to deal with getting behind.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I even
absolutely.
dropped my pen because that argument was so good.
Just dropped it all out of your hands. Now,
I got another one. Don't worry, guys. I got a backup pen.
Yeah, I mean, and just to emphasize, not being behind here, the only range champion they have is part-time on the job. Their Elise can transform back and forth, so a full melee comp here from H2K. Meanwhile, Bangkok Titans here going to do what they can. And I, by the way, believe that they're going to have to lane swap this one. Thresh Vayne cannot wave clear at all up against the Mordekaiser here. That matchup itself would have to be ganked to even have a chance at winning that fight.
Sure, I think a double range matchup with Vayne is okay to try and kill the Mordekaiser, but then you got to worry about the jungler coming in.
Yeah, and Alistar can heal. Either way, guys, we got to get ourselves into this game. Of course, you guys at home can tweet in your own prediction on this one. It's going to be hashtag H2K win or hashtag BKT win to let us know how that one's going to go. H2K are the favorites on this one, but if there's a chance for Bangkok Titans to win, it is this matchup or the rematch next week.
Didn't make it easier for themselves by giving Mordekaiser the perm ban champion until now.
Are you excited, Deficio?
Always excited for Mordekaiser.
I can feel it. See, the thing is, usually when you're like, oh, there's a problem in the bottom lane, Twisted Fate is going to be a huge bonus for the opposing team because any bottom lane that's constantly shoving, oh, you're going to teleport down there. But there are double teleports for H2K to answer. Plus, by the time that Twisted Fate hits level 6, Mordekaiser will also be level 6. And you have to be very, very careful about ganking down there. The best thing about Twisted Fate is not that he can actually teleport down bottom in this case. The best thing is that he can reveal the positions of all of the H2K members. So you can see if Lulex is down bottom. And if he's not, then you can decide to commit.
This is big, though. H2K is calling the lane swap. You can see where Vayne and Thresh are headed on this side, but look at Mordekaiser and Alistar.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to end up meeting it. And again, from what I've spoken to pros, there is not a 2-on-2 lane that can actually handle the hard push of Mordekaiser Alistar. Even if you can try, you get worn down too quickly.
Yeah, so the thing that happened with Mordekaiser, when he just got reworked and there was no nerfs coming in for him yet, he could literally just push every single lane and out-sustain you. There was just so little you could do against him. But that has been toned down quite a bit. So I will say, lanes with like maybe a Kalista coming in, Kalista Thresh, Kalista Ken, and so on, these lanes can take and kill him. And I think Vayne and Thresh as well, if you are a very strong 2v2 lane, can apply quite a lot of pressure. But as you say yourself, Freak, if they don't manage to take the good trades and try and kill him, he will just push them into the tower over and over and over.
Yeah, to build on your point as well, Deficio, especially paired with an Alistar who started Coin, the extra mana regeneration on Alistar, he can decide to actually level up heal second, and the sustain on an already ridiculous Mordekaiser lane just comes so difficult to stop there because they have 2 heals coming from each other.
So they gave Vayne the full camp at level 1 on the side of Bangkok Titans here. So you see Thresh is only level 1, but they're already looking to start trading, and you can see this again is a double range setup into double melee. So it is going to be difficult for Yawnin to get in the middle of these minions here. And because there's a Thresh, once the jungle pressure happens, they can play super aggressive on the side of Bangkok Titans to try and lock down this Mordekaiser.
Yeah. And look for the play right there. Good play by Moss. They were aware of the level 2 timing of Kasing. H2K did not get into that one just yet. Moss still level 1, just has Flay.
Yeah, and because Kasing was actually looking for the level 2 all-in right there, he leveled up Headbutt immediately to try and go for it. So the sustain from the heal won't be there until the next level.
That'll be a couple of waves from now, so we got to track the junglers, and right now it's both of them actually on the top left side of the map, so they'd be on call to react if something did happen up there.
Both junglers going to end their routes on the top side as well, and that does leave the bottom lane isolated. This Riven matchup, anytime you feel if you have a skill advantage over your opponent, Riven is the champion to pick to try and abuse that and snowball early.
It's 11 CS up already. He's got literally 4 times the minion kills. Lulex tries to steal the red buff, can't quite do it, but still trying to push 007X out of his jungle. Misses the cocoon, expects the dodge, or maybe just misses.
But he can make this very aggressive play because both the top lane and the mid lane has been pushed into the tower, so it's very easy for H2K to spot when the moves are coming from Bangkok Titans to send in some help, and maybe even deny them some CS by trying to go in and zone them on the way out. We saw it both from Rio, and we see it up here top lane. Onto a Thresh. Ooh, very early flash being used.
Had to, he's gonna get pulverized. That would have been probably 500 damage he takes over the course of that.
You have your potions and a heal though from Lloyd. I think that flash is so important to keep to make that play once your jungler arrives. But again, you also pick the Gragas in the early game, so you are very afraid of where Lulex is going to be. If we see an all-in from Bangkok Titans on top side and Lulex is there for the counter gank, it goes so heavily in favor of H2K.
Well, something to be concerned about then. Elise was still top side, but going to recall now for the Chilling Smite. Normal par for the course there. 2 wards picked up for Lulex as well, so providing some vision to prevent the counter ganks. 007X on Gragas is actually hiding around the top side turret right now, though. And maybe, just maybe, they go for a play with this one.
Well, we expected the
They're not
action.
going to dive, so what's he trying to do there?
Well, I wonder if it's the lantern play, but again, Mosh just
Without
used the flash before so defensively so quickly. So that big play potential is kind of gone now, making it even easier for H2K.
Yep. Jungle efficiency, strike one for 007X. Has wards, has already recalled, but falling far behind Lulex.
Yeah, and the biggest discrepancy is actually in this bottom lane. Odoamne was able to get the early control of the wave. It's going to be very hard for Warlock to get it back. Ryu going aggressive.
Gets the shield, but the Vital Slam's still going to land. Good damage, flash force. The wild card still hit too, and Ryu, 10 to 200 health.
A little bit of mistiming in from 007 here. G4 had already used everything he had and only had mana for one more spell. And the splashes for, but obviously he didn't expect Lulex to be nearby, and therefore he backed out from it. So a lot of flashes being used early on from the Bangkok Titans, and H2K didn't really get punished for it.
Yeah, meanwhile, you're keeping track of the jungle here. Lulex made his way up top.
Lands the stun. There's the flash pulverize. Headbutt him backwards. Exhaust on Yarn. Doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot. There comes the rest
Give
of
it
the
to
team.
Mord.
Oh, the Kaiser gets it.
And that's the thing here. You use that early flash where you didn't have to because maybe you're a little bit nervous. You don't want to risk giving up a first blood.
Answer
And
down bottom.
instantly though, we just come in with the gank and there you go.
Flashless Gragas not going to mean much though. Odoamne's totally safe. Even gets the ward up right after he leaves. So no return here. Plus 10 CS with 5 left in the wave.
Yeah, this,
Even proxying up top here.
this
is
could get
bad.
out of hand very quickly. Mord now level 6 as well, so if they take the turret, and swap the duo down bottom, we will get to see our first Dragon Ghost at Worlds.
Great start for him. Obviously, we're expecting Yanin to go for the Rhyalize as the first item. And now, level 6 for G4. He can come and join the top lane fight.
He's going to try. Where's the target? Cocoon right on time. Nice headbutt into the pulverize. Buys a bit more. Yarnan's on the way out here. The minions stunning him against the wall. There's only one minion left. That's another stun. Yarnan has to flash the wall, but there's no chase to be had.
Ryu actually used his teleport and canceled it.
Just
Did
too
he
far
just go
back.
to the mid lane?
He was trying to TP to the minions who were still walking towards the tier 1 tower of Bangkok Titans. So probably realizing he wasn't really going to be able to join the fight. In the end, some flashes being used from H2K to get out of this one. And first ulti being used from G4 to apply some pressure against that Mordekaiser lane, who was, to be fair, standing between 2 towers already.
Yeah, it's true. So a bit over-aggressive, but really no punish here. A 1,400 gold
there it
lead.
is.
Another trade Odoamne into Warlock.
Yeah, you want to go for the trade when he's in mini form. Warlock trades back very well there, though.
Warlock's winning in the potion game. Odoamne's going to have to recall fairly soon.
Didn't like that engage mode on Odoamne because we're so close to Mega now as well from Warlock. So the only thing he would ever be able to do is just 1 or 2 hits, but then the return damage will always be greater than Warlock in that case. But he's still winning the lane
Yeah, quite handily winning the lane.
very easily.
Anytime that you do see a Riven in the game, it should attract a lot of jungle attention.
But what if you have a Mordekaiser?
But exactly, Mordekaiser takes priority. And they actually didn't get the turret, so that's a good thing for Bangkok Titans. The turret didn't go down top quite yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know if H2K will actually swing down for that dragon until they finish the job.
They can just easily, Odoamne can try and just push out his lane, go back and shove, and then go to the top side of the map if he wants to, if they want to swap around the lanes, because obviously Bangkok Titans will have to try and respond as well, because they don't want to give up that early dragon pressure. But for now, everyone is still happy just staying in the lanes. Jan has already gone back once, and is going towards that Rhyalize.
And for those who want to play Mordekaiser like the professionals, tracking his builds and whatnot, has CDR per level glyphs, ability power Quince, he went cooldown boots right away. So pretty ability power focus so far and you know, ability spam focused as far as the build's concerned.
That's going to be the build. We're going to get an Hourglass later from him as well. And maxing the Q first instead of the W. So want that single target damage coming in from the Kaiser.
The King of Death, if we were in German.
Well, he's the king of kills in this game, 100%.
Man, what a beast. 1 kill.
100% of all kills in this game have gone to Hjarnan.
Best part of Mordekaiser is still the bonk noise on his third Q attack.
It's the most deceptively threatening sound
Yeah,
in the game.
it actually is kind of interesting because... Okay, well, let's see here.
Nice
Lulix
repel,
does
though.
get forced out.
Dodges the wild card, and Ryu's coming around. Another stun's gonna land, and oh, forcing the flash to get away from explosive cask. We're seeing still, glimmers of hope for Bangkok Titans. Certainly one of the closest game they've had so far at Worlds.
Yeah. So, anyway, speaking of tricks from Mordekaiser, he has very few tricks because, he's a fairly straightforward champion. But one of them is to charge up your first 2 hits of your Q, and you'll just look for the only flashy play from a Mordekaiser is a flash third hit from Q, and you get this very, very satisfying noise, and you'll usually get the huge burst kill.
Yep.
So people, that's one thing to watch out for. The other is, of course, the speed boost from your W. If you put that on whoever's initiating on your team, try and get you in there.
Just a warning for everyone trying to make that play Kobe just talked about. It requires 0 mechanics.
Hey, you got a flash auto attack there. Some people flash auto attack the wrong thing or flash twisted advance the minion.
Man, that's going to be what Warlock is known for this World Championship.
bad.
That one play. He was good yesterday in the game against EDG, SKT.
Oh, wow. Just by walking forward, Lux wasn't even in range yet. They forced the teleport from G4. Had home guard, will land in the stun, but a 3-man pulverize says hello. G4 is going to be the first ghost of the game, and here it is. Maybe they can change a bit more. Ryu is in. It's not a dragon, but they're going to be killing everyone all the same. Ryu cannot get the ulti off in time, though, stunned up. But we got more targets here. Odwamna had held aggro. Now it's Kasing. He's got to run. The turret might kill him, and it will actually, but it's still a whitewash. 5-2 in kills. A double for Warlock, but way more for H2K.
Yep, they're going to get the tower after that as well and continue pushing on number 2 here. 007 runs for the mid lane to pick up the minion.
Go, G4, go!
He's turned against him.
And now he's going to go kill himself.
All right, 1v1.
No! Oh, he didn't kill it. It's the ghost.
H2K,
Hey, it keeps home guards, though. It's going to be belting out of that lane.
Let's see again what happens here. So Bangkok Titans looking for Kasing, but again, it's onto the Alistar. He doesn't really care. 3-man knock up. Everyone is here from H2K. TP's coming in. Loads of them in the game. Now you have the Ghost. I mean, from here on out, it's almost impossible to fight the Mordekaiser. Once you get that early Ghost, then it just becomes a massive dive fest.
Yeah. They actually could have pulled this off even a bit better. Odwamna could have kept doing damage there. Stays on the outside, and after he drops turret aggro, it goes on to Kasing, who can't take more than 2.
Now, yeah. Another attempt in the bot lane, though. G4 trying to make the play flash stun. They caught Odwamna. Do they have enough damage, though? The flame does not hit, and he's running for his life. Yarna gets a kill. Now there's a Gragas Ghost trying to wreak some havoc in the backside.
Here comes Ryu.
Traded 1-for-1 so far. Lantern keeps him safe. Kasing can't get in.
All right, so far the Ghosts here, they're growing in size. We had the Twisted Fate first, now the Gragas. We need a Dragon next. I mean, it's so disappointing.
Yeah. Maybe a Mega Gnar. Might be bigger than Gragas.
Would that stay in the Ghost form now?
I actually don't know. I've actually never gotten a Gnar Ghost. Sorry.
Have you ever played Mordekaiser?
About 8 times.
Are you lying to us, Brig?
No, I've played a
Keeping secrets.
single-digit number of Mordekaiser. Yeah, I don't want to actually let it be known until the finals. Then I'll bring out the real Mordekaiser knowledge.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and guess that it does not transform.
All right,
But that's all I got for you.
good guess. We'll find out. I'm sure there's plenty of tweets about this one. I'm sure the match has been played before. Either way, though, H2K just turning the screws as best they can. Bangkok Titans have gotten themselves a dragon, and they have gotten themselves 3 kills, but H2K are doing nicely for themselves. 6 kills, 4,000 build up. Bonk! I love it. G4 getting really pushed around in this lane. He's been able to assist the others fairly well.
Yeah, early cooldown
But then he
reduction
pushed around.
boots for himself, so he's been using more time in the side lanes than he's doing mid lane right now, but that's basically what he needs to do, and just try and get some kills for the team. You said yourself earlier, Freak, there's been more action for Bangkok Titans and more, should we say, normal fights, and not just these crazy all-ins one-on-one. They've been trying to coordinate as a team. But so far, H2 have been ready to respond, and it's all been around the Mordekaiser, who's sitting on 2 kills and 4 assists.
Oh, Ryu.
Oh. Baited.
I have a better guess for the Gnar interaction, by the way. So, okay. Oh, hold on. We're gonna
Say
have
it
a fight.
after.
Yeah, we're gonna have a fight first. Who wants to open it up? 007 does. Knockback out of Lulex. Repel gets him not very far. The box will hit. The kill comes through to Lloyd. 1 on the Vayne. Hook goes wide. H2K looking to still push 4v5. Bangkok Titans used many ults, but they've got a Mega Gnar bar.
But they've also got a Riven behind them. Odoamne decides not to 1v4 try and cut them off, though.
That's not a proper Riven player.
Yeah. But they were driven away from the turret, so all well for H2K. 3 kills to nothing. Turrets to nothing, rather. And all's well. Okay, so
Story time, Freak. Hit me.
Mordekaiser Ghosts always inherit character passives,
Okay.
which includes things like Narbar.
Yeah, yeah.
So he can actually turn into Mega Gnar while a ghost.
But how would the ghost? Okay, okay.
It auto attacks,
Sure.
it takes damage.
Does
Yeah,
does
no.
Tryndamere Ghost charge up
Yes.
Rage and get critical strike?
Rage is at yes.
All right.
Say yes.
All right.
So we need people to tell us the Freak is lying to us because I mean I feel like he's giving me a lot of hope
Wait.
here, a lot of cool
No,
information.
The
but
passive is the when you're low. No,
Because I'm-
no, the passive is the
Your,
rage
your
generation,
resource
yeah.
bar is definitely different from your passive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, part of the character script is literally what your resource bar is.
True enough.
Yeah, you inherit like char.ini.
I like the bold statement though, Freak.
Yeah.
Stepping out there.
I mean, I was in Riot like when we made Mordekaiser, so I'm actually aware of like some of the scripting behind the champion.
You were
it was
in
cool,
Riot
man.
in the building?
Yeah, I mean, I worked at the company by then. Yeah, production tells me I'm on target, by the way, so all is well.
I really hope you're still
might be a
wrong
time
about
better
all this
behind me, though.
Mordekaiser stuff.
I don't know if I should stay on target for too long. Maybe it's gonna go badly for me.
All right, so
6,000
Bangkok still.
gold.
I mean,
Yeah.
again, they keep trying to look for these places. There's all 5 members coming down, just trying to look for fights. I don't think Yanin minds too much, though.
No, I mean, he's just happily pushing around, being level 11, tied with his other solo laners here. Kasing, by the way, I actually want to point something out here. It feels so bad when you're Mordekaiser and your support roams, because you can't use not only your relic shield, but also the W, which is like your main skill. He's actually
it did get changed.
only
so
1 point in the W. It barely does anything you can solo. It's a bit better, but it's still pretty crap. 007 forced to run away. Kieran is 1-pointing the W, by the way.
I feel like after we called out, he wasn't playing a lot of Mordekaiser. He's just showing us all these cool things. Really trying to one-up.
Like I said, I've played 8 games of Mordekaiser. Laning is something I'm aware of. Killing a Gnar, I'm not.
I do know that the Zhonya's rush second is a bit odd.
Yeah.
The cooldown reduction is really important for him, so you can definitely see going for the cooldown reduction boots. But it's an interesting choice actually going for the Zhonya second.
I think it's fair enough, especially when you're getting really far ahead, and you're already gonna have so much damage. If you're just gonna be unkillable at the same time, you can play super aggressive. Obviously, H2K's lineup, we have the Talisman on the Alistar, so it's gonna be popped, and we're gonna see 3-4 guys to try to dive in on the back line. Lloyd is gonna be targeted probably every single fight, and if you get that Ghost for the Mordekaiser, it normally is a guaranteed win in these team fights here.
I mean, I do like AP heavy Mordekaiser. I think it's actually one of the better choices in builds.
for sure,
And AP
sure.
items, I'll give like the same amount of AP for the same amount of gold. So, of the AP items, Riley's first, then Azonia's, I feel like makes sense.
It
But
does.
if we see more Mordekaiser, maybe there's going to be better builds coming out.
I mean, there's a lot of different things you can build, and often when you have a champion that you consider so strong, one of the big things is that you can often build a lot of different items and you will still be very useful. It just depends on the situation. Are you against heavy AP? You go for a Business Scepter maybe for yourself. Do you want more movement speed? A Twin Shadows. Drop my pen again for the second time.
Abyssal Scepter there is definitely one of my favorite items. It's so cheap and so cost effective, especially since Mordekaiser is melee, is going to get right into the thick of the fight. Really get a lot of value out of that AoE.
Meanwhile, Kjarnan just happily farming off on the side. Trying to be the brains of the organization. There we go. Nice cocoon off on a Moss, but just building max CDR. Actually, no team out on the build. No lifesteal either, but Black Cleaver and a Brutalizer. Even though he's got no physical damage to support, still wants to shred a bunch of armor for his teammates in some way. Here we go. The first Dragon Ghost of the game for H2K.
Yeah. The dangerous thing about, it's really hard for Bangkok Titans because you don't want to have to go through the jungle to fight that dragon fight, but if you don't, then the dragon's going to come straight up mid lane, and you're going to have a real problem defending your turret as well. So almost giving up like an objective and a half.
All right, let's see what they can use it for. Looking for the mid lane, but that wave got cleared. Lich Bane already done for G4, so his single target damage is much higher.
I took some damage already.
Down to 3,100 health. And nearly kills a bunch of caster minions.
Well, they just need to get him over to a tower. Start pushing onto it.
Oh.
Want to make sure it doesn't go down. Playing very safe with it for now for Yanin.
You know what's interesting? We talk about new champions and players having to adapt to new things. How often do minions have to face dragons? Like, this is a new experience for the minions as well. Will they even react properly? There we go, turret being attacked, and they just can't kill this dragon very quickly. 2,400 health still on it, and the dedicated focus comes through, but no, it despawns in time. Nothing was gained from the dragon at all.
H2K is like the worst siege comp ever. Like, you have a melee mid lane, a melee top lane.
It's 5 melee.
And then you have to at least be like poked for like 20 damage, and that's about it. And then the dragon.
We set that up to be so big. The dragon coming down mid lane, and it didn't do.
All right, Odoamna though got pulled in, and here comes the engage. They're focusing him down. Flash the way, will survive. Meanwhile, Kasing is up in front, but he's not the one holding turret aggro. He's instead just kiting away on the Vayne, but he's still going to go down. Turret picked up, but a couple of revenge kills. There's the stun. Lulex forced to flash. Warlock does have his own flash, but he's getting slowed so much he can't reach anyone. G4 doesn't run fast enough, and the Echo Q. Ryu saving many of his teammates there.
So H2K going in for the dive and then suddenly realizing the tower was still alive, so they started hitting both things. Odoamna had to flash out. Obviously, he got engaged on at first, forcing that move from H2K. Now going in again.
Flash engage, they pull it in Yarn, and he's going to be going down. Picked up one, the TP. Doesn't mean anything. Why did Odoamna even finish that channel?
Yeah, big swing here for Bangkok Titans. They're able to punish H2K. It's a fairly severe mistake right there, and they do give up the mid lane turret. First turret there for Bangkok Titans is going to give them a little bit more gold to work with.
100% kill participation on the Thresh. Let's see what happens. It's him pulling it on at first, so he forces the dive, the move happening, but tower's still alive. And it's very hard for all these melee champions now to get back here in the back line between two towers and really fight with Bangkok Titans. So much time to take down Kasing. Not enough movement speed then for the team to catch up and get more kills, but then of course took down Yarn a little bit later.
Yeah, multiple hooks there from Moss back to back.
I just want to point out that even though the gold lead is still 5,000 apart, Bangkok Titans are equal in kills right now, 22 minutes into the game.
And Mordekaiser is a pick that is insanely strong if you look at the early and mid game and what he can do with these dragons here, taking down the early towers and get that massive gold lead for your team. But late game, it becomes very difficult for a melee champion to carry like an AD carry.
Oh, Kasing takes the hook. Beautiful play, carrying the game as much as he can, and now it's time for the second Twisted Fate Ghost. Abadisam comes in, and now Lloyd in the back line's doing what he can. Ryu gets a lot of punishment there. Bob's going to go back in onto Warlock, but he's still getting hit. He's going to have to run, but now Moss is beset, and Odoamna gets the kill. It's a 2-for-0. Opens the game back up for H2K. Make that 3. It's going to knock down 007X.
Kasing with a huge counter engage right there, saving Yarnin and turning it around for an advantage. Bangkok Titans are going to have to retreat now.
And it's going to mean that Baron is the easy target. Sadly, for Yarnin, there will not be a Baron Ghost. It's not how it works here. He'd be stuck in the pit anyway, wouldn't do anything.
Well, you can send out G4's Ghost again just to be a little bit annoying.
G4 is pretty low, not that it means much. Gets revenge on himself, and now Odoamna on the chase. They have picked up the kill on Echo, but Barons would have been picked up, so H2K has this one. And to re-engage with Warlock, buying some time. What can they pick up? G4's got to be a bit careful. I guess there's no range champion. It's really like only Elise can project threat. Baron picked up 1 kill for a BKT, but H2K should be able to take a lot out of this.
Second time G4 has to face his own Ghost. Kill it.
He's come out on top both times, so.
Both times he's been winning, for sure. I mean, so his performance on Twisted Fate, we talked about it earlier, how he's not been spending a whole lot of time in the mid lane because he's been so busy just being part of every single fight for the last like 15 minutes in the side lanes. That is why he went for the Twisted Fate. And this team has been able to, not by no means match H2K, but at least have a lot closer game against them compared to what they had versus EDG and SKT.
Oh, it is what you expect when you look at the skill levels and the origins of these teams. H2K actually another team that just last year were in the Challenger Series. In fact, very few of these players had professional careers before.
Yeah, a team that joined the LCS and lost their star player in Fibivan. And there was a lot of talk, what could this team do? How important was Fibivan for that lineup? He went to Fnatic, of course, at the start of Spring Split. They got in Ryu, who was kind of struggling in Europe, joining Millennium at first, not managed to qualify for the LCS, and it looked really bad for Ryu at first. But then he gets that chance to join H2K, and honestly been a strong player for this team, especially here in the summer split. And every time he gets into the playoffs and the important matches, he really steps up, and he's not afraid to make plays. He doesn't care who he's facing. He's gonna go for it.
We'll see if they can make this happen. Kasing wants to go in. It's just gonna actually create some space. This turret's still taking plenty of damage here.
Yeah, they should be able to get it. The split push here for H2K, double lines of minions buffed up. They are not able to take it. Bangkok Titans rebuff them and hold their turret for now.
There's a lot of vocabulary where it's rebuff. Knock him
Oh,
around.
D4 again. Might join the top lane fight. Warlock is going aggressive.
He's gonna find a stun on Odoamne. How
Got
far
back
can
up.
Riven get?
That's a kill.
Not very far. That is a kill. That's a card as well, G4.
Honestly, another punish here from Bangkok Titans.
And this is something we have seen very often for H2K. Let's talk about it after because 007 is getting engaged on.
Ryu getting around. Is gonna lock up with the stun as well. Can he get into range? Yes. 007X, more like, well, actually his scoreline's not correct for that one. Never mind. More like 3 and 4. Ah, really good one, Freak. But Bottleman turret will go down all the same, 10 to 8 in kills. Kobe's just dying right here, much like 007X. And now into the inhibitor turrets we go. Finally salvaged it here as Yarnan knocks down a few minions. The Dragon's here. Lulak's a bit too far forward. Box comes down, flashes over the walls. Bit more wave clear comes through, and this Dragon realizes, wait, I'm alone. My team have left me. And it will actually get away. Wow, congratulations, Dragon.
There you go. You
survived.
survived, but you're not doing anything. You're useless. We don't like you anymore.
Wow.
Come on, that dragon's
hater.
done nothing.
You are such a Dragon hater. It helped him win the team
Look
fight.
at, okay, go against the Grom. Let's see who wins.
Oh, one shot.
Wow.
That's not even fair. There were assists on that Dragon. Well,
Disappointing, man.
oh, whatever.
I bet you Warlock can kill that Grom.
Of course he can.
Let's look at Warlock.
Oh my
killing
god,
the
that's
Grom.
not even... I can't believe you
Well,
right
he
now.
just killed it.
All right. Well, the Grump died. Warlock confirmed better than Dragons. So if you got to think about role-playing... Ooh, that was close.
Yeah. H2K, though, honestly, they keep on making mistakes trying to close this game out. And Bangkok Titans are quick to answer. G4 with his teleport on Twisted Fate, continually chasing them down, getting small pieces of gold back for them.
Yeah.
It just becomes harder and harder for this Mordecai, so the further he has to walk in towards the enemy base with this Dragon to siege it, because again, it's so easy for Bangkok Titans to move from the fountain between the 3 lanes near the inhibitors and then move that defense around. So when you have this all melee lineup except for Lulex, sieging is not really your option anymore. You gotta just force a fight around the Baron, get Bangkok Titans out of that base, take that 5 versus 5, win that, and that's how you then move on.
It's going to take him a while, though. Baron Nashor is still dead for a while.
That's why we see the fight right now taking place over the placement of wards inside the red quadrant jungle here for Bangkok Titans. And they're fighting back, trying to clear it out as best they can.
Barely got anything really in terms of gold, 2,500. It's very low amount compared to the average we saw. I mean, yesterday, I believe we were about like 4,000 on average when it came to plays where Baron was still on the team like the full duration.
Right. That was one of the biggest ones, certainly. That's about the same size as the first SKT one when they were playing really slow. Lloyd, though, getting caught out. He was going to miss. He expected to be somewhere else. And here comes TF. Lulex going to jump around a little bit, but still going to get knocked down. Here comes the Riven, but not doing nearly enough. Odoamne forced around, but Ryu into the front line really wants to kill G4. Zonia's popped on both sides. Back in they go. A big knock-up. Meganar to answer, and they're routed, though. H2K doing so much damage. Bangkok Titans have to run from this one, but they're still taking turret damage. Sharna can't quite do enough. The jump back in. The stun hits Ryu, and back in goes Alistair. They're killing everyone back and forth. Warlock running. Odoamne does not have aggro, so it doesn't
TB coming
matter.
in.
The TB coming in. They don't kill the turret. Yes, they do. They stop it, and Moss goes down. Warlock's next. Almost everyone. It's everybody dying.
Getting that tower down and canceling the teleport was so key for H2K, but once again, they engage on, or they start a fight. Yana was running from mid lane. He wasn't even close. And Bangkok Titans, they're keeping it very even in these team fights.
Yep, but now H2K are going to be able to 3-man take down this inhibitor turret. And G4 just has to throw cards from a distance.
Wow, queued up the stun perfectly. Goodbye, G4. There's the ace. There's the H2K swag coming up from Kissing. He is playing absolutely amazing as an individual here. And he's leading his team to a lead.
Saving the team every time they get a little bit too deep or step out of line. Kissing is here to create a play.
We talked about Ryu before, how he joined the team when they came into the LCS, replaced Febiven. We didn't get to see too much from H2K in the start of the spring split until Kasing joined. And we got the whole Kasing effect started. They won so many games in a row. The communication just got so much better. And of course, him as a playmaker, finally finding a team where he could really shine, where the teammates trusted him. And he's been a fantastic support all year long.
It's been great. He's going to find another one here. Moss just going to get hit by so many stuns, he's barely able to flay before going down. Ryu takes him down for the shield, keeps him all right. The AP ratio helping on this one. Mid lane can get cleared, but Baron is back alive, and Bangkok Titans are missing their support.
Yeah, H2K going to try and bait again here. They start up the Baron to force Twisted Fate ultimate.
Going in for Ryu up top here with G4.
Well, bit of damage back and forth. Ryu's gonna hide away, but here comes the engage. 5 versus 4. You look for Warlock, Chilling Spite to get the slow. Odwamna will land the stun, and everything else, they just pile in there. And it's time to keep on pushing in this one. G4 pops his own, he's got nowhere to go on this. There's the kill, another TF Ghost comes through. 007X is trying to run away, but that's 3 kills picked up in sequence.
Another successful bait there for H2K. Grab themselves a couple more kills, and they're gonna return to the Baron. 007X still alive, doesn't have flash, but he can try and sacrifice his life and go in there for a steal.
Would you be able to do it, Kobe? Would you take this one?
If you know my
Kobe's
history,
known for
I'm
missing
notoriously poor at Baron smiting.
You had 5 years to practice, come on.
Like, to put it this way, he was replaced by St. Vicious and it was an upgrade. In they go, though. 007 gonna get jumped on. The rest of the team can take the Baron down, but he's not gonna want to stop. He jumps down the prep. Odwamna's on a rampage. 007's still there. No! Down he goes, and there's the blue team picking up Baron Nashor. The kills now far apart, 20-10. 2 more plus the Baron.
All right, we'll see if they can get more done with this Baron power play than previously. It should be a lot easier because they already have super minions flooding in the top, and both waves shoved here for H2K.
And you can get a dragon again. Maybe this time it can do something.
You're such a dragon hater, though. I'm surprised you even brought it up.
Secretly, I want it to do well. I want the dragon to do well.
Positive reinforcement
Yeah.
from Deficio here. How to train your dragon.
Hopefully next time the Baron power play can be gold earned plus Dragon Ghosts.
I mean, this is gonna be the one.
What's the Dragon Ghost power play? That's what I want to know, you know, over the course of this game.
So they didn't get a mid tower, or they did after the
What about
fight,
the
but
G4 play?
Oh, dear Lord! He's going to go down, and he can just run and hop and skip and jump away. Pops the H2K swag, but it's not going to be enough. A shutdown comes through for Lloyd.
The unseen Quicksilver Sash is indeed the deadliest. If you go in expecting to have the stun lock to work with, Odwamna turns it around on him real quick and able to pick up the kill. He does end up going down, but it allowed the shove here from H2K. They're inside the base. Another inhibitor going down.
And if you're looking for a stun lock, unfortunately, it's still Mini-Gnar here, so he can't have one just yet. A nice Zhonya's Ryu buys some time. Mid lane goes down to the Dragon, and now that Dragon is into the fight. Moss getting chased down by Ryu shouldn't be a hard one for him. Hjarnan steals the kill away, as is his right as the Mordekaiser player. Big engage from Kasing, knocks up 3, and the Dragon is still chasing the enemy AD carry. Lloyd's got to be careful, and down they
the
go,
Dragon
a
value.
double kill. The Dragon value is big on this one. All is well. There's a triple kill. They're going for 4. Now will it be the pentakill?
Go, Dragon, go!
Mordekaiser. The Dragon takes it. In they go. Warlock says no. A double kill for him. Hjarnan tries one more time, but it's not going to be happening. Odwamna just not good enough to give his Mordekaiser a pentakill. There's the Warlock stun lock. Gets the shutdown. At the last minute, they kill away some of H2K, but it's not going to be enough. There's the Nexus. There's 1.5 million minions. And there's the game. H2K pick up their first win at Worlds.
And Mordekaiser got his first win. Undefeated. Was first picked.
13-2-10. I mean, a good scoreline as well. They played around him pretty well.
I think this entire game was just one big team fight around Mordekaiser.
Yeah.
No matter where he was on the map, we would just see everyone be there and try and fight. The Dragons wasn't the key thing here for
Left something
Mordekaiser.
to be desired there.
Yeah, well, Bangkok Titans tried to test H2K's mettle, but Mordekaiser is the master of it, so unsurprising that H2K came out victorious here. And that's going to do it, by the way, for all the Week 1 games for these teams. Now, every single team from Group C is on break until the next week's group stages. And these guys now have about 4 to 5 days to prepare everything back again and say, okay, here's the last run of the group stage. Bangkok Titans 0-3.
Sure.
Not a good start. H2K still have to hope for that one kind of upset.
Yeah, H2K can go back and still rewatch like the SKT and EDG game and say, what did we do well? Let's try and do that again, but where did it go wrong? Were there a few openings we missed? Weren't we confident enough? You know, was it the pick and ban phase? Because they're still obviously going to chase towards getting that second spot, getting out of the group. Let's just say EDG loses again to SK Telecom. Suddenly, that one match is going to be so key between H2K and EDG.
Yep.
But it's obviously still going to be so difficult for Bangkok Titans. I like that we saw a different kind of game from them. This was not the, hey, let's just have a bit of fun and try and go all in. They legit had a strategy and tried to shut down the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, they did what they could with it, but unfortunately, like, Kasing stopped all of it. Like, if there's a player I'm going to watch for, I mean, Mordekaiser's fun and all, but Kasing played out of his freaking mind that game. I mean, he would pop his ult while headbutting to break a stun so that he could flash pulverize afterwards. I mean, so many amazing plays. He would turn around and walk back into a hook, then ult it, and then go kill Moss. Like, just, this game is honestly a Kasing highlight reel. The Kasing effect, you talked about it earlier, but I mean, his individual plays at such a high caliber. I'm actually really glad he's at Worlds.
Well, I'm happy too for him because he deserves it. Looking at just his overall performance all year long, people would highlight maybe towards the end of Summer Split and playoffs, he went down a little bit in terms of level, but so did the rest of the team. It was like, I think, to me, it was the entire team who kind of dropped. Now they're obviously trying to pick up the pieces. They are no longer the top 2 team in Europe because Origin took that spot and showed that yesterday as well. But they're just still trying, and coming into next year, still a very young team, probably first year for him as a coach. There's a lot of things here working for them and a lot of things they can still improve on.
And they're very good early on in the game. Their first 15 to 20 minutes actually is one of the very best in the league. Their lane swap game is good. They understand that decision tree. It's when it gets beyond 20 minutes. Monte Cristo quoted a stat about H2K that they're 1-9 if once they have 1,000 gold deficit at 20 minutes, because that end game is not good for them. We saw the evidence of that in this one, how long it took them to close the game out, right? All the Dragon Ghosts did very little, as you were happy to point out. Their sieges and their dives often misfired here despite the big leads they were having.
Meanwhile, Lulex and Kasing are preparing for that interview with Shox right now. We will speak to them in just a moment.
All right, so what are our final thoughts here about these teams? We're not going to see them for a week. We saw the end of the Edward Gaming for SKT match. What's Group C going to be like?
I don't think we're going to see any more Mordekaiser in Group C, but EDG sitting very comfortably at the top, undefeated still.
Yeah, SKT taking them down. Yeah,
Or, excuse me.
Yeah, no, I know what you meant.
SKT, EDG, you know.
They're basically the same team.
I mean, this is what we expected coming into the group. SKT, EDG fight for number 1.
Yep.
H2K try the best to maybe keep up, and then Bangkok Titans probably coming in and having a tough time in every single match. So I'm just happy to see more of a serious game for them as well. Pick and ban wise, and the way they played out the early game and how they tried to challenge H2K and didn't make it easy for them to just go in and close the game.
Because the continual plays from G4, constantly using TF teleport to try and make plays, to try and punish H2K every time they did offer an opening.
So that was his attempt there. We're going to see what else these guys can do next week. But for now, we're going to check in with Shox, who's standing by with some of H2K after their first win at Worlds.
Thank you. Yes, more specifically, Lulex and Kasing after that victory of H2K over the Bangkok Titans. Let's dive into the game a little bit, because Mordekaiser was left open for the very first time. Did you guys tunnel on that very hard because of it, or were you prepared to go and play with him?
Well, to be honest, we didn't expect Mordekaiser to be open because Mord has 100% pick ban rate. So I assume, when they're going to play Mord. But when they left open Mord, it was kind of like, Mordekaiser's super OP right now. So yeah, we just picked it.
Super OP, yet it came close in terms of kills and Bangkok Titans' engagement overall. How did you live the game? Because you guys were the favorites coming into it, but at some point it was pretty close.
I think it just comes to the fact that we didn't get much practice with Mordekaiser in scrims because it's usually banned, but since it's 100% banned, we just felt forced to pick it. And I mean, we just knew it was OP. We just had to place the comp right. They got the first Drake. We just needed to get the other one, and it happened. So
a lot of 5-man knockups by Alistar helped a little bit as well, Kasing.
Just a bit.
Just a little bit. Stepping away from this game, you're now 1-2 in this group. It's safe to say that you're total underdogs in this group that is very heavily stacked. You guys went to boot camp in Korea after the group draw. You tweeted, I don't know if it was serious or not. You guys tweeted, well, it's over, boys. GG. Has that changed at all? Because honestly, you put up a decent fight versus EDG yesterday. You have a win here, and you have some time to practice now.
Well, I don't think it's completely over because we have to play the game, so it was actually over. But I mean, at the time, we were just very good because we had SKT and EDG. But I still think we can maybe take off a game from one of them. But hopefully, you know, we're lucky.
Yeah.
Ulex, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, in the day of the announcement, we were a bit depressed and stuff because this was really unlucky. But then we reminded ourselves that it's just a best of one and anything can happen. So we just kept on trying in Korea, and I think we have a shot.
Obviously, Ulex, for you personally, there was a lot of criticism on your play from all sides coming in at the end of the season. How have you personally dealt with that?
I just try to ignore it, honestly, and just try to focus on my game and improve.
That is the best way to handle it. And with all of that, you still had all the fans here chanting your name. Rather, is there anything you'd like to say to them?
C'est la première fois que je joue en France. Et voilà, et franchement, je me trouve super et on a encore... et ouais, on a encore une game contre EDG et SKT et on va tout donner pour pas vous décevoir. Voilà.
A big thank you from Ulex to the super fans here and saying that they still have a chance versus SKT and EDG, and he's going to try not to let them down. Well, you guys have a win on the board already. Thank you guys so much. Congratulations. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, it is about in Group D between LGD and KT. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Look behind you. Look at Hyun's face. Implement it now.
Do you like that, Yana? I'm so cool there.
Lands the stun. There's the flash pulverized. Headbutt him backwards. Exhaust on Yarn. And doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot. There comes the rest of the team.
Fight. TF.
He finished TF? Okay, good.
Go, contact.
Finish. Oh, no E. No E. No, he has no T. Carry.
The TB coming in. They don't kill the turret. Yes, they do. They stop it, and Moscow's down. Warlock's next. Almost everyone. And down they go. A double kill. The dragon value is big on this one. All is well. There's a triple kill. H2K pick up their first win at Worlds.